Sheila Wayman, and I'm with Bag and Boob Babes, and I'm going to show you how to sew the double drain bag apron and pillows. This is the kit that you perhaps have already made or you've gotten from someone, and it is all of the pieces that you need to make a double drain bag apron. We'll take it out of the bag. You'll see that you have the insert card. We'll set that aside and open it up. Inside you'll see the binding. We'll set that aside for right now, and the shower ribbon. In the middle here we have the two pillows. Sew them. They're already folded in half with right sides together, and just sew a 1/4 inch seam from the cut edges down to the fold. Since there are two pillows, there's no need to cut the thread between them. Just start sewing the next one. I don't even pin these edges shut because the flannel seems to stay together fairly well. I have already sewn the other two sides, and so now we are ready to trim the threads and turn them right side out. I like to use a point turner or a chopstick to poke out the corners. Poke them gently so that you don't poke through the fabric. And I dropped one. Turn the other one right side out also. When we have a double drain bag apron, it has two pillows, and so usually I try to make one of the pillows out of the plain fabric and one pillow out of the print fabric. But if you run out of fabric, of one of the fabrics, then make both the pillows out the same. So then we stuff each one of these with a quality fiber fill. And I could take a whole bunch of fiberfill like this, but that would make kind of a lumpy pillow, and so I take small bits and stuff them inside and poke them out into the corners. When we've had sew days before, some people who are not seamstresses, there are stuffers, and they will stuff all the pillows. So you see, you keep just tearing apart the larger clumps into smaller ones and stuffing them inside. You want the pillow to be full, but not firm, not hard. I think I want just a little bit more in this one. Yeah, that's just about right. And so then we kind of push the stuffing down so you've got edges to work with to close the pillow. And turn under about 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and then pin it shut. And we'll do this on both of the pillows. And we'll stitch close to the folded edges. I'll show you on this pillow, and then I won't take the time to sew the other one for you. But you do both pillows the same way. threads. This pillow is used to put under the arm, also perhaps under the seat belt or the shoulder strap. So both pillows will be stuffed and sewn shut. The next thing that you do is to hem the pocket. Now remember, the double one is 20 inches long, but it's made exactly like the single. Turn under 1/4 of an inch, and then turn under another 1/4 of an inch, and sew close to the inside fold. There's no need to make the pocket double. It's strong enough just as the fabric in a single layer of the fabric. You may be a person who likes to press. I don't. And it seems to work out quite well, but if you would like to press it, you go ahead. So we finished hemming the pocket. Now we place it on top of the apron front. You want to match the corners and sides. And I put a few pins in it just to kind of hold it in place. We're really not quite ready to sew this side and bottom seam, but we are ready to sew a line down the middle of the pocket, which will help it to form 2 large pockets. Some ladies in their surgery have normally about 4 drains, and yet some have as many as 8. So we feel that this size of a pocket and apron will accommodate all of those 8 drains if they have that many. So we've marked the middle of the pocket, and we're just going to sew a straight line right down the center, back stitching at the front and the back. To form 2 pockets. Then, without any further stitching, we'll put the back on the front. Remember, this fabric is directional, so we want to make sure that we have the flowers going the right way. I suppose it's not quite as important with flowers as it would be with little animals or little people or words or something like that. But if your fabric is directional, you'll want to keep that in mind as you put pieces together. So I'm pinning the sides and the bottom together, not the top. And then we're going to sew down the sides, across the bottom, and up the other side. Do a little better job of matching that. This will be a 1/4 inch seam. Notice that the pocket sticks out, or the hemline sticks out just a little bit there. I'm just going to trim that off. And then because there's 3 layers of fabric here, I am going to cut off the points just to help reduce a little bit of the bulk. And take all my pins out. And now we're going to turn it right side out. So you want the pocket next to the plain fabric. And then poke out the corners. And then kind of pull the back. Now this is a point where you could press this. I just want the back of the apron not to show in the front. And so I'm just putting a few pins in to help accomplish that before I pin the top together. Okay, as you can see, if we kind of smooth out the back, see it comes right up to the edge. That's really good. That's just the way we want it. And then we take the binding. Now remember, the binding you have folded, so we know where half is. Also the pocket, we can just kind of estimate where the middle of the back is, but we want to put the right side of the binding to the right side of the back of the pocket and pin this. A few pins will help keep the flannel in place just for this one line of stitching. And this will help secure it before we turn it to actually bind the top. Once that's all pinned in place, stitch a 1/4 inch seam. Oh, I think I can do a better job of pinning that right there. There. This particular line of stitching is just to hold it in place. So that we can actually bind the top of the pocket. Okay. Then turn it to the right side of the apron. Fold under about 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch. Actually, it's more than that. It's probably a 3/8 to half. And I just pin it there. And then I really don't feel I have to do a lot of pinning on this binding. Fold in each side equally, and you can put a few pins in if you want to. But I'm finding with this quality of flannel, it's quite easy to work with, and it doesn't require lots of pinning. So I'm going to start the stitching right now. Notice how frayed that edge is. Don't worry about that. We're going to cut that off later. And we don't have to really finish the end of the tie. apron is used at least 2 weeks, maybe as long as 4 weeks, depending upon how quickly someone heals and how quickly the drains can be removed. When I stop, I like to stop with the needle down. That way I can give a little tug on the fabric to straighten it out, and it won't slip out from the presser foot. So when you get to the apron part, it's okay. You do want to cover up that stitching on the back side. It's okay if this goes past the stitching. It's on the back, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't require lots of pinning. So I'm going to start the stitching right now. Notice how straight that how quickly someone heals and how quickly the drains can be removed. When I stop, I like to stop with the needle down. That way I can give a little tug on the fabric to straighten it out, and it won't slip out from the presser foot. So when you get to the apron part, it's okay. You do want to cover up that stitching on the back side. It's okay if this goes past the stitching. It's on the back, so it doesn't matter. You can see how fast this is going together, and usually you can make one of these in 25 to 30 minutes. There's a thread I didn't cut. Folding the ends under, and you're done in no time. Just be sure that you back stitch at the end so that it's easy to cut off an uneven edge. And your apron is done. So fold the apron in half. Fold the piece out. Then I usually fold that to the inside and put the shower ribbon in the other pocket, and I kind of like it to be poking out a little bit just so that they see it's there. And then also the card. Be sure that you sign the back of the card and tell where you're from. Put the little card in. It tells what the pieces are and what they're for, and then got a little strange edge right here. And then you stuff the pillows in the bag. You have to think that this pillow is already stuffed. And put it in the bag too. And then put the apron in and seal it shut. And it's ready to go to the doctor's office or the hospital or be sent to an individual. So now that you know how to sew this comfort project for breast cancer patients, I hope that you will have fun making them and make many and bless many others. Thanks for watching.